Right now, this very moment, real-time mileage, I'm averaging 31.5 miles per gallon. Let me repeat that, 31.5 freaking miles per gallon. Howdy folks, Nathan Adlin here with the Fast Lane Truck, and as you can see, we are in a gothic, Victorian, cool-looking location. We're actually about an hour and a half north of Manhattan, New York. GMC flew us out here specifically to drive all their vehicles, but we are starting with this one, the 2016 GMC Canyon with the Duramax diesel. And coming up next, we're going to do a quick drive and we're going to give you some basic impressions.
Passenger, there you go.
It doesn't feel like a diesel. Certainly doesn't feel like a heavy-duty truck. There's a little tiny bit of clatter, but it's negligible. Right now, you can hear it just as I'm powering up a hill. And then when I pull away, you'll really hear it. Here, listen. You might hear this. But now it sounds, you get a little bit of the diesel clatter, but it sounds like, I don't know, like a loud four-cylinder engine. Behold, the magic of the 2.8 liter Duramax 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine. All right, now here's the great part. Sure, it puts out 181 horsepower, but most importantly, 369 pound-feet of torque, and that's at 2,000 RPM. That's what it's all about. This is the bottom thing here. Torque. Oh, beautiful stuff. Now it's hooked up to a 6-speed hydromatic transmission that's feeding the rear wheels, or in this particular case, all 4 wheels when you're using 4-wheel drive. The tank holds 21 gallons. Now, GMC has not given us fuel mileage numbers yet that are official. However, driving up here from Manhattan to Beacon Falls, we averaged about 28 miles per gallon, and that was with some traffic, but for the most part, nice country roads. It's not too bad. It doesn't really feel like a diesel, other than when you're driving in traffic, you do feel a little bit of the diesel lag. That's not so bad. There are a couple things, though, that make this truck different than the regular GMC Canyon, aside from the diesel engine, and that goes to where you would fill in fuel. So you have the diesel cap, and then next to it, you'll have the urea cap. And that's something you don't really need to worry about very much, because your service manager will take care of that when you bring the vehicle in, and it's in between X amount of miles, they'll top it off and you'll be good to go. You know, it's a funny thing with vehicles like this, because I didn't know exactly where to put most GMCs when I've driven them. You know, you've got Cadillac and you've got Chevy and of course GMC in the middle, and that's sort of the way to think about it. However, most people who buy a pickup truck really need a working man's truck, and then the comfort kind of comes secondary, and that's exactly where this vehicle comes in, because I think they really matched it beautifully, especially with the seats, 6 airbags, comfortable leather, smooth, very nice contours all throughout, very well designed. But there are a couple of minor things, one of which is hard plastic panels where you'd put your elbow on the doors. Really wish they had some sort of fabric there or something. And also these switches, the rotary knobs for the headlights and 4-wheel drive system are right next to each other, exactly the same size. And quite frankly, I have recently reached over, grabbed the 4-wheel drive control and turned it on instead of the headlights when we were filming. I really like the tires they put on here. They're the Goodyear Wranglers, and they're on 18-inch wheels. The regular Goodyear Wrangler is a really good all-season mud and snow tire. Off-road, not so much, but on streets and regular driving, nice and quiet, not a whole lot of road noise, they seem to work just fine. why bother with the small truck when you can get a big truck for the same price or even possibly cheaper? That gets decent gas mileage and can tow even more. You're right, but there are a lot of people out there who just prefer small trucks. Don't believe me? Look how many Toyota Tacomas have been sold. Now this is a crew cabin. Because of that, you get the 5-foot 2-inch bed. Now, this setup, as is, will tow 7,600 pounds, which is impressive. You can actually go 100 pounds more, 7,700 pounds, if you get the two-wheel drive version of this. But I mean, think about the fact that this is a small to mid-sized truck and it can tow over 7,000 pounds. That is really impressive. Whew. I really like what GMC has done between the diesel and this truck and its capability and overall drivability. All of it's impressive. Oh, and one more thing. The bed comes down with assistance so it doesn't slam open, which is nice. It's a really good looking truck. I truly think that this is an exceptionally well-designed truck because it looks like a baby Sierra, and I've always felt that the new style Sierra design is really good. So that's basically what you have in a smaller package. But it doesn't really pretend to be anything it's not. Yes, it's a diesel truck. So yes, it can actually tow. Right now, this very moment, real-time mileage, I'm averaging 31.5 miles per gallon. Let me repeat that, 31.5 freaking miles per gallon. It's a truck. There are a couple other important things to keep in mind. First of all, maximum payload for this vehicle is 1,506 pounds, and that's maximum. A lot of vehicles out there that are half-ton and larger, of course, they can hold more and they can tow more. The question is that valuable to you? And that's really what the trade-off is. You get good gas mileage, it tows quite a bit for a small truck, and it holds, well, over 1,500 pounds maximum. That's not bad. But the other side of it is if you get a half-ton truck, you can get all that and possibly even get a cheaper price. So it's the idea of getting a premium, smaller vehicle. And that's the big question. As for driving, well, it drove great. And going through the city of Manhattan, coming up here to the country, fantastic ride. It's up to you guys to think whether or not this vehicle is worth it. I'm really looking forward to getting it up to Colorado so we can put it on the Ike Gauntlet and do some real towing with it. For the Fast Lane Truck, this is Nathan Adlin. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to go to tfltruck.com for news, views, and real-world reviews. Hasta la vista. This is the 2016 GMC Canyon with the Duramax diesel. But more importantly, behind it is a jet ski. And coming up next, we're going to tow with this thing. Let's see what it's like. They really needed to add a lot more weight. I was hoping for a big, fat horse trailer filled with rocks because it's going to tow up to 7,600 pounds. And if it was the two-wheel drive version of the regular Canyon diesel, you can go up to 7,700 pounds.